All right, baby. All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you give this video a thumbs up or share this video, that'd be absolutely freaking awesome. I greatly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I'm on YouTube. Go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. It's free of charge, too. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, YouTube a little ways down. Well, actually, top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. If you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. And also, just a little ways down in the description box also is a link that takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants of Gridiron. My Facebook group. We have over 9,100 members in the group. It's doing fantastic. Simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in that group down there 365. As I said, over 9,100 members in the group. It's growing constantly. Please join it. Please become a member. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, let's see. 2020. This is what, my fourth season I've been doing this? Fourth season. So this is my 4th season. I've been doing, we do the game, right? We do a preview of the game, then we do the review of the game. And unfortunately, the past 4 seasons, most of the time, the review of the game is not very good. But then I always come back and we do the team and the player grades. I always like to put like the PFF. I always like to do the see what PFF, just strictly PFF is not mine. This is nobody else's PFF. I'm going to show you and everything like that. But what each player did, maybe how many snaps each guy had, and all that stuff. But then also, let's go back. We go back to the big board, right? And we break down. We look exactly where the Giants rank. Once again, all by just PFF compared to all the other teams. And usually the Giants are rather pathetic. Usually so, and they're starting off on a pathetic, rather pathetic too. So it's. Things were not very pretty. Everything's not very pretty. Speaking of pretty, though, the 49ers, I'll tell you what, they all the hype with Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff, and when the Giants, had the joint practices with the Jets, and the Jets, for the most part, I mean, it wasn't like they beat us to beat the Giants 812-0, and but I'm sure they got the better. There were some good moments the Giants had. I mean, Rodgers, certainly worked his magic, so the Jets certainly had the better. But I'll tell you what, they did not have the better of the game tonight. I mean, I turned it off. It was 32-13, I think it was. I mean, 1, 2, right? They scored that 49ers scored on 8 drives in a row. I think because I missed the first 15 minutes or so of the game, I think they had a 3 and out. And then after that, they've scored. The one dude kicked 6 field goals and they scored 2 touchdowns. I mean, they were just walking up and down the field against the Jets defense. Sauce on the side, Gardner. He was out. He played for a little while and he got injured. So Mosley he was injured, but he went back in the game. But McCaffrey wasn't even in there. And the 49ers had, I think, by about 200 yards rushing. It was just, they look like a freaking machine. And was it Pearsall? I think their first round pick, the guy. Thank goodness. I mean, the guy's all right. I mean, thank goodness, right? I mean, he had the robbery and he got shot in the chest. Thank goodness. I went right through him. Didn't hit no major. I mean, holy cow, huh? The dude standing on the sideline. So he's on it. They took advantage of that, right? Which is freaking awesome. He got injured before the 53 countdown. So they were able to put him on the PUP. He has to miss the first 4 weeks. He has to miss the first 4 games of the season. After that, He comes off. They get 21 days. So he has another 3 weeks. And, anywhere in that 21 days, he can pass a physical. They put him on the 53. So basically, if somebody's going to be out, you can look at about 7 weeks, right? Because he comes in and has to miss 4 games. Once again, after that, he has up to 3 weeks to pass the physical. And you also look like that too. I mean, if the guy gets injured a week or so before, the 53 countdown, I mean, the guy has almost 2 months to get healthy. Obviously, if it's a torn ACL, Achilles, or torn pec or something like that, whatever, 2 months ain't going to help you. But I mean, a lot of the nicks and bruises and bumps and all that stuff and everything like that can be fixed in, even a brick and broken bone, right? I mean, you figure they can do that in 6 weeks or so. So, but thankfully, my God, McCaffrey wasn't even in there. Their one running back had 150 yards rushing or something. I mean, it was just holy cow. I forgot what his name was because I'm an idiot. But the Purdy man, right? But I mean, the Skittle man, Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Pearsall, Jennings, McCaffrey wasn't even in there. As I said, their first overall pick number 31 in the draft wasn't in there. McCaffrey wasn't in there. It's like Williams, their tackle, who held out. I think he's making like $72 trillion a game now because he wanted more money and whatever. He played the first 65 snaps. He went in. He had to get an IV because he didn't show up to practice, so he couldn't be in game shape. He was in pretty good shape, but I guess the IV and all that and everything. But I mean, as time goes by, he's only going to get stronger and stronger. And Ayuk missed a touchdown reception. Purdy had a beautiful pass in the corner of the end zone. I mean, it was not an easy reception, but Ayuk left his feet. He was like diagonal, right? Laid out. I guess the ball was right frickin' there, went right through his arms. He didn't drop another one. Sauce on the side, Gardner knocked the ball out. I think it was Sauce knocked it out. But so Ayuk have a little. He wants $30 million a year, and then he, has a pass go right through, touchdown pass right through his arm. Was not the easiest of catches, but Purdy laid it out there. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, dude, you want $30 million a year, you need to come down with the ball. It's absolutely, the one thing that just really just ticks me off, just a lot of things tick me off because I'm an old fart, right? But it's like, you want all this money and you hold out and this, that, and the other thing. It's like, well, when you screw up, or do you give any money back? I dropped the touchdown pass. Here's $500,000 back. That's on. No, of course not. No. Guys jump up and down. I want more money. Well, if you have a bad season or something, like, do you give any money back, or you just jump up and down like a little baby that you want more? I can't stand that stuff. Absolutely can't stand that stuff. But anyway, but I tell you what, the 49ers look like a freaking machine. I mean, the Jets scored 7 points, like right in the beginning of the first quarter. They were up 7-3. And then it was like, then they came back, was 26-7. Then it was 26-13. Went for a 2-pointer. They just missed it by about a half a yard or so. But it was 20. Then the 49ers kicked 2 more field goals up to 32-13. I turned it off. It was like about 2-3 minutes ago in the game. Jets were driving. Tyrod Taylor was in there, moving the Jets down the field. But the game was out of hand. But tell you what, the 49ers look good. And the reason why I like that, okay, is because, I got 2 rules, right? 2 rules. 1, Giants win the Super Bowl. Oh, I'm not saying the Giants can't turn the season around. The Giants ain't winning the Super Bowl this season. Not happening. I don't care if they turn the season around or not. They're not winning the Super Bowl this season. Period. End of story. So, we know that's not happening. But rule number 2 is anybody but the Eagles. So what I try to do You know, and I like it to be anybody but the Cowboys too. But I can't stand Eagles are number one. I got a little soft spot because my son's, I'm not sure why, but he's a Cowboy fan. So if they were to win the Super Bowl, I'd be happy for him, right? But I mean, anybody but the Eagles. So what I try to do is when the Eagles are looking good, right? You try to look look out on the horizon. We got a long way to go. You don't know who's going to get injured and when and all that stuff and whatnot. You don't know, right? But I just try to look down, into the future, and if once again, which doesn't really ever happen, if both teams all the teams stay healthy and all, is there anybody who can beat the Eagles? I tell you, the 49ers look pretty good. The thing is, the 49ers are not going to wind up playing the Eagles because the 49ers were number one. The Eagles started 10-1, of course. Then they wound up 11-6 because they suck. So they wound up in second place. So the 49ers are going to be playing the Cowboys. But I mean, if the Eagles went first, the Eagles would have played the Lions. The Eagles would have played the Bucks. The Eagles would have played the 49ers. But since they found up in second place, they won't be playing the 49ers unless maybe they're in the playoffs. So, but I mean, like last year, remember last year, the Eagles and the 49ers played each other in the regular season. And the 49ers, I mean, after the Eagles, they knocked out Purdy. The 49ers had like a 314 string quarterback in there, or there was a McCaffrey was in there trying to throw up. I mean, they were just running. It was an absolute joke. And the Eagles were like, woo, we're so great. Well, why don't you put a second grader in there, a quarterback, and let's see if you want to win the Super Bowl, go to win the football game. You know what I mean? So that's why I just hate the Eagles. But so after the Eagles, beat the 49ers in the playoffs 2 years ago to go to the Super Bowl, so the 49ers had a little vengeance. So last year, the 49ers fucking just laid it right into the Eagles. I loved it. Absolutely just killed them. Loved it. Oh, man. I hate the Eagles. But so they won't be playing each other this year unless it's in the playoffs. But so I tell you, 49ers look good. They're going to have a problem next year because this is the last year that Purdy's going to make about $52 for the whole season because his rookie contract's up. He's going to want to make some money like all these other guys, like Ayuk's, $30 million a year, Trent Williams, $30 million, and all these other guys going to want, So Purdy's going to get probably about $50 million or so a year. So then they're going to have some cuts. They're going to have to do, obviously the salary cap's going to go up, so that'll help the 49ers a little bit. They can, maybe his first year cap hit can come down a little bit. So, but, it's tough to pay Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, Skittleman, McCaffrey, Williams, the guys they got on defense. It's kind of, and pay your court, it's kind of tough. The way the Eagles can do it is because they're doing nothing but kicking the money down the road. Howie Roseman, he thinks he's like the greatest GM of all time. Well, he owes like $312 trillion in the upcoming years, but because he's building a great roster right now, he thinks and all the Eagle fans think they're like the greatest thing of all time, which they're not. But their day will come, because Howie's just kicking all this money down the road, so sooner or later they'll have to pay the piper. And when they do, the Eagles will be in trouble. So their window is shrinking. It's really, really, they only got like another year or so. I think Jalen Hurts' contract, I think in 2026 or 2027, they owe him like about $100 million for just the one guy. So it's Eagles have to pay the piper. So I hope the 49ers can just kick the crap out of the Eagles this year. If the Eagles make it to the playoffs and all that stuff and everything. But anyway, so let's go and let's take a look and let's see what what PFF graded out the Giants to be at. Let's take the offense, shall we? Let's go here. La, 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 la. Let's see our special teams. Here we go. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's see what we got now here. Oh. Okay, so first we got Andrew Thomas. Did very, very well. He was in there for, looks like every snap. The Giants had 70 snaps. They had about, 48 yards of total offense, and they had 70 snaps. So it's not too good. Not too good at all. Yeah, like 3.5 yards. Was it 3.5 yards? Or 3.6 yards per play or something ridiculous. Anyway. But Andrew Thomas, 76.6. His pass blocking, 91.4. Very, very good. Wan'Dale Robinson was only in there for 47 snaps, graded out of 69.3. Eric Gray was in there for just 7 snaps, 67.1. Jermaine Illuminor, he was in all 70 snaps. His pass by was a 73.2. Yeah, he graded out of 64.9. Chris Manhertz was in there for 20 snaps, 63.2. The pass block grade 77.6. Darius Slayton was in there for 50 snaps, 60.2. Devin Singletary for 50 snaps, 59.7. John Runyon was in there for all 70 snaps, graded at 59. His pass block was at 59.7. Daniel Jones, he was in there obviously for all 70 snaps, graded at 57.2. Malik Neighbors, he was in there for every snap, didn't miss a snap. 56.4. Daniel Bellinger was in there for 16 snaps, graded out of 56. John Michael Schmitz, obviously all 70 snaps, 52.2. His pass block grade was a 47.1. Now, last year his pass block grade was not super spectacular. This year, he's got to get a little better. He does have to get a little better. Van Roten, he was in there for all 70 snaps, 46.6. His pass block was a 44.1. Tracy was in there for 14 snaps, 46.5. Theo Johnson was in there for 61 snaps. You look at this. We had a lot of tight ends. You thought, but I don't know if Dable was worried about the Flores blitzing and guys not being able to pick it up or what. But you look. Johnson was in there for 61 snaps. Bellinger was in there for 16. Manhertz was in there for 20 snaps. So. And then Hyatt was in there for 15 snaps. Probably the fastest guy we got on the team. He's 15 snaps. 36.4. So we didn't use, usually sometimes on offense, we have a lot more than this. They're not use a lot of guys. All right. Let's see here. So then let's go to the defense. Where are we at here? Special teams. Oh, there we go. Defense. Okay. All right. Same thing here. We didn't use a ton of guys. The sexy one. He had, according to PFF, I saw we had even more than this, but they have him with 6 total pressures. He had a sack and 5 hurries. Let's see here. So Dexter Lawrence, 92.6, but you like to see this. This is what you like to see, right? Andrew Phillips was only in there for 16 snaps at 84.3 overall. His coverage grade, 90.9, right? Right, and our 3rd round pick. It's good. It's good to see. Of course, but if for some reason they only had him in there for 16 snaps. Because in the head flat, they also had a Dory Jackson in there, but this guy right here, he's part of the future, Andrew Phillips. So it's nice to see that he did good. Dane Belton was only in there for 9 snaps, graded out of 70.7. Jason Pinnock was in there for all 50 Well, I'm guessing he must have missed a snap. 54 snaps, because I guess 50 looks like they had 55 snaps. Tyler Newman was in there for every snap. That's good. But Pinnock, 69.2. Jordan Riley was in there for 9 snaps, 63.7. Dory Jackson was in there for 19 snaps, 62.9. Darius Muasau was in there for 45 snaps, 61.5. Cordell Flott was in there for 37 snaps, graded out of 60. Azeez Ojulari, 24 snaps, he graded out of 59.4. Tyler Newman, 55 snaps, graded out of 58.3. Deontay Banks, 55 snaps. I mean, he had a tough game. Right? He was going up against Jefferson. Right? I mean, he did not have an easy game. His coverage grade was a 47.5, but he was a 55.8. Bobby Okereke, 55.8. He's had better games. He has had better games. Last year, Bobby Okereke was usually way up at the top up here. And let's see. What do you have? 2 tackles. I mean, he has 2 tackles on the first drive last year. I mean, I don't know what happened. Don't know what happened, but he's in there for 55 snaps and he had 2 tackles. Don't know. I mean, I didn't look at the film or not like that. Don't know, but Bobby Okereke last year, every game had double-digit sacks. Almost every game, he had 2 sacks, which is really bad. Absolutely horrible for him. Absolutely horrible for Bobby Okereke. Brian Burns was in there for 48 snaps, 53.8. He had 1 pressure. Not Joe, 34 snaps, 52.7. Elijah Chapman was in there for 24 snaps, 42.7. Nick McLeod was in there for 21 snaps, 42.1. Kayvon, 41 snaps, 38.9. He was in there for 41 snaps. He had 1 pressure, and that was it. He had 1 hit. He had a quarterback hit. Let's see, Kayvon, and he missed a tackle. He apparently had one opportunity to make a tackle, and he missed it. According to PFF, he had no tackles. Didn't have a tackle. He's number 5 in the draft. He expects greatness. He wants greatness. He expects to be great. Blah 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 blah. Where were you? Where were you, dude? You're in there for 41 snaps, and all you can come up with was 1 quarterback hit. You couldn't even make a tackle. I mean, somewhere along the line, you're going to want to get paid, right? You're going to want probably 20, 25, 30 million, whatever it is a season. You're in there for 41 snaps. You can't even make a tackle? Really? And then DJ Davidson was in there for 22 snaps, 28.6. So not a banner day here. But, I mean, 22 snaps, he had 2 hurries. His pass rush grade was a 73.7. His run defense was not very good. Not very good at all, 26.9. I mean, the Vikings do have a good offensive line. So, but he got himself some pressure. So the Giants apparently had a grand total of 11 total pressures. They had a sack, 1 hit, and 9 hurries. Not super spectacular. All right, so let's go to the special teams. Let's see what the special teams were. All right, special teams. Here we go. All right. Okay, here we go. Now, obviously, we had a ton of guys here. I must apologize. I got a bulb that's blown out on my computer here, so that's why down over in the corner over here, it's kind of dark. At least it's in the corner. It's not toward the middle here. But see, Ty Summers was in there for 20 snaps. This is all special teams. 71.7. Nick McLeod was in there for 7, 69.8. Belton was in there for 22 snaps, 67.9. Bryce Ford Wheaton was in there for 17 snaps, 66.5. Tyler Newman. So Newman was all the defensive snaps and special. What was he at? Kick coverage and punt return. So, and he was 62.2. Isaiah Simmons, who was on 18 special team snaps, 61.7. It's kind of like where, I mean, you bring the guy back. It's like, where was Isaiah Simmons on the defense? Couldn't use him at all? No. I mean, guys on the sideline, yeah. All right. I mean, just a lot of stuff you'll see will be like around 60 or so. That's when like nothing super duper spectacular happened. That seems like a very vanilla kind of way. When the guys get around a 60. Right, so I mean, you see all of these. I mean, look at all these 60s here. A 59 points, 59, but a 60, a 60, 60, 60, 60. Yeah, you know what I mean? So all very, very, Eric Gray, Bellinger, Azeez Ojulari, Flott, Scottish Hammer, Davidson, John Runyon, Pinnock, Okereke, Van Roten, there was Muasau, Zudu, Coughlin, Stinney, Slayton, Illuminor, Graham Gano, Tracy, Riley, Manhertz, Nacho, Theo Johnson, Casey Kreider, Benton Whitley, and Andrew Phillips. So nothing super duper spectacular. Just a lot of average grades there. I mean, you look. I mean, Graham Gano made his couple field goals. Scottish Hammer did a pretty good job at punting. Where was Slayton at? Where was Slayton? I mean, I wonder how much he got penalized here for his. There is Slayton, 31.5. So that's got to be his punting. Yeah, he had that muff punt. Didn't look very, very comfortable back there, right? But the thing is that talking to or not, yeah, like I was talking to Dable, no, but listening to Dable, apparently it looks like Gunner might be out for a little while. Carter Coughlin might be out for a while. Some of these injuries and all of that. Slate was in the concussion protocol. Once again, it is you play a game. After the game's over with, guys are going to be injured. Right? You lick your wounds and you move forward. So we'll have to wait and see what the extent of those injuries are. But the Giants did bring in, I'm not sure if they signed him or not, but I know they brought in somebody. I probably want to be putting that in my video maybe tomorrow. But they were obviously bringing in at least one guy, if not more, than one, as a punt returner. Right? So I'll have to wait and see. But what I like to do is let's see where the Giants ranked, okay, compared to the rest of the NFL. Okay, so I mean, obviously this is just week 1. Obviously, it was an unbelievably, absolutely pathetic showing by the New York Giants. Not every, but I mean, overall, it was just ungodly pathetic. I mean, you're at home. I mean, the Vikings, they're not the 72 Dolphins. I mean, they're not, the 72 Dolphins, the only undefeated team, 17-0, right? I mean, had a backup quarterback in there, if you want to call him. I mean, if Darnold was that great, I mean, he'd be starting someplace. You know what I mean? So, they're not that, they're on par with the Giants. Giants at home, 100th anniversary celebration, all the families and everybody. Lawrence Taylor is the captain, or he was one of the whatever, honorary captain or something like that at the beginning and all that. And he couldn't even score a touchdown. Wow. Couldn't even score a touchdown. You're up 3-0, and you get outscored 28-3. I mean, the last 3.5 quarters, you kick one field goal. Oh my God! It's like, are you serious? Wow. But so let's see what the Giants are compared to the rest of the league. Oh, and as usual, I'm sure it's pretty bad. At least it's always been that way in the past, right? But you see, you'll look here, right? Overall, Seattle, overall, the team overall grade, 91.3. But look who's number 2, the Vikings. I mean, as of just week 1, the Vikings will probably want to be in the middle of the pack by the end of the season, right? But, the Vikings are number 2. The overall team grade, 84.5. That's how good they looked against the Giants. Now, the Giants are, let's see here, number 29, 53.8. Absolute trash. Absolute trash. Offensive grade. New Orleans, because they put up 312 points against the Panthers. So New Orleans is number 1, 84.2. The Giants' offensive grade, let's see here. Number 30, 54.9. So far they've graded out 29 and 30th. Passing grade. The Saints, 86.4. The Vikings, look at this, 86.2. Because Darnold had a very, very accurate. What he completed his first 12 passes, I think it was, and just very, very accurate. So the Saints are number 1, 86.4. Where are the Giants at? Let me just kind of scroll down to the bottom down there. Let's see where the Giants are at there. Well, the Eagles, look at that, 33.3. Wow. That's Jalen Hurts for you. They paid the dude $50, $55, $51 million or whatever it is. 33.3 is your overall grade, passing grade. All right, the Giants are 57.6. Okay, number 21. Somehow, I don't know how that's possible, but all right, pass blocking. Let's see here what we got. Pass blocking. The Saints, 92.4. Eagles, 87.6. All right, so the Giants shouldn't be that bad. The Giants are number 15, 72.3. Not bad, right? Middle of the pack. You can be in the middle of the pack and you can win football games. So that's a fantastic grade for the Giants, 72.3. That's just the pass blocking now. Receiving grade, let's see here. The Buccaneers, 77.4, 74.8 for the Eagles. All right, so the Giants receiving grade, let's see here, where the Giants at? 27, 55.4 for the Giants, the 27th. All right, running grade, what we got there? The Lions, 87.3. Wow. What the hell, the 49er? Well, I guess the 49er game. Do they have a grade for the 49ers or no? Nope, they don't. I don't know, the 49ers are 63.3. I mean, they were running the ball right down the Jets' throats. I can't possibly imagine. But anyway, the Giants' running grade was a 63.4. They were number 20 overall. I'm not sure how they were number 20. They had, 70 yards rushing? I mean, just there weren't many holes there. So I don't know. Run blocking. The Colts, 90.2. Giants should not be very high on this one because I don't think our run blocking was super spectacular. But the Giants are last, 43.3 with their run blocking. Dead last, run blocking. Defensive grade. All right, Seahawks, 91. Vikings, number 2. The overall defensive grade, 82.9. All right, what do we got here? The Giants. Where the Giants are at? Giants are number 22. 57.2 defensive grade. 57.2 overall. Run defense. Minnesota, 84.5. Number 1. Giants run defense. last run defense, 40.6. Absolutely. And that's the one thing that just kind of bothers you, because it's like, once again, it's just one game and all that stuff. I get it. But the Shane Bowen defense, right? One of the strengths, he's got a couple strengths. One of them is the red zone defense, but one of them is the run defense. Always been a strength. Always been a strength. And here it is. Great. We have the worst grade after week 1. Long way to go and all that stuff and everything. Right? But tackling. The Lions, 75.4. Somehow the Giants, 64.7. We're 4th at tackling. Wow. Pass rush. Lions, 90.7. The Steelers, 90.6. Oh, yeah, absolutely. The Giants, I have no idea. 66.1. No idea. Pass rush, 66.1. No idea that's possible. Where's Minnesota at? Some of this stuff just makes you scratch your head. Minnesota is somehow number 23, 59.8. 5 sacks. They hit Daniel Jones. They hurried him, all this stuff and everything. And I don't know. Doesn't make much sense to me. Coverage grade. Seahawks, 92.7. The Bears, 89.5. Cowboys, 84.7. The Giants, 67.6. And the special teams grade. The Bears, 82.7. They blocked the punt and ran it back for a touchdown, so I'm sure that helped their score. Let's see here, special teams. So the Giants shouldn't have been too bad with the special teams. I mean, well, then again, this is PFF, so let's see. Where the Giants at overall? Yeah, special teams. Number 19, 62.1 overall. So not super spectacular, but then again, I mean, after that debacle, I'm very, very surprised that they had that many good grades, period. Now, last year, I mean, the Giants were like, every year out of all of those, there was like, I forgot what it was, like 13 different categories that PFF has that they grade teams out on. Giants last season, I think, were like 30, 31, or 32 in like 4 or 5 of those categories. I mean, it was just ungodly. Every week they were last, second or third to last, and like 4 or 5 of those categories every week. Just unbelievable. The nice thing is that 1 week does not necessarily translate into another week, right? So, I mean, then again, too, look at the Commanders too. Commanders did not look good at all. I mean, they went down to Tampa Bay and they got their rear ends handed to them. So, but this weekend's a new week, right? The Giants could look, I don't want to say look like gangbusters, but the Giants could win and come out smelling like roses after the same thing with the Commanders. The Commanders can hand it to the Giants, and the Giants can come out, 0-2, right? So 1 week does not translate into the next week. So any given Sunday, we'll have to wait and see. Keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully they can get some stuff squared away. Got some interesting things. The Daniel Jones hook, right? How long is he going to be? How long of a leash is he going to have, or how far before they pull him or whatever? So he's got to do a better job. He's got to do a better job. Plain and simple. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm sure they're not going to pull him for at least the first few. Because I mean the Cowboys won, right? They beat the Browns, but the Browns did not give up a lot of yards to the Cowboys. So we got to play in Cleveland. That's going to be a tough game for the Giants. Period. But the Browns have a very good defense, so that's going to be very difficult for Daniel Jones. Then, of course, the following week, we're playing the Cowboys, and we haven't beaten the Cowboys since George Washington was in the office. So, and the Cowboys just, I don't know, they just Just can't have a hard time beating him. So Daniel Jones have a hard time there as well, too. So interesting to see how many bad games. Of course, I hope not. But if how many bad games in a row does Daniel Jones have before they pull? Now, the next thing is, do they put in Drew Lock or they put in Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan? Interesting to see. Now, apparently, Drew Lock is, his oblique or hip or whatever it is. Seems like apparently he's good to go. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm not exactly sure if the Giants have the answer on their roster as far as quarterbacks. I would be absolutely just now. To be fair, Daniel Jones is coming off of his injury. He did not really play much in the preseason as far as live bullets or live action went on. And so I get that and all. So there's some optimism for improvement there, right? But is he damaged goods with the injuries and the amount of times he's been hit and all that stuff? I mean, sometimes you're still staring down the same receiver, right? His first read, dropping back to pass. Okay, all right, Darius. All right, I'm coming to you, baby. Just turn around. All right, Johnny. You looking at me? Okay, you looking at me? I'm looking at you. All right, okay. I'm going to throw it. All right, you got to put your hands up. Okay, all right, here it comes. Here comes the ball. I mean, it's like. It just seems like he's just damaged goods. I don't know because it's the injuries or because he's been just hit so many times or whatever, but some of the things were just not pretty. And there's time to turn things around, but I'm sure his leash. I mean, I don't know if it's the Shane / Dable era will be over. If one goes, the other one's going to go. Are they a couple and they're both gone? Or if they get rid of Dable, the Shane stay and they try to bring it in, but look at it with Dable. I mean, it's like, you're tying your future to that number 8, right? And if you just keep stinking, right? How long are you going to keep him in there for? Right. I mean, the Titanic is if it starts going down, how long are you going to man the ship with Daniel Jones? So, or are they going to make a change? So we'll have to wait and see. But I just, after seeing from yesterday, once again, ways to go, right? But just after looking at yesterday, it seems like he's just damaged goods. He's like shell shocked, and I don't know if there's any way out of it. All right, guys, it's been 42, almost 43 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go.